Hi, hello, and welcome back to the channel. This is actually a part 2 to the last video that I uploaded, which was about a new story that I have created and all the characters. The previous video introduced the two main characters, while this video introduces four of the side characters. They take part in a lot of the story, but the story is not about them. And this first image that you are seeing me draw is of Gracie and Nora. Well, Nora is on the left and Gracie is on the right. I had started getting used to Clip Studio because if you watch my last video, you'd know that I just recently started getting into digital art on my computer because I didn't have a computer to use before. And it was very hard for me to use. I wasn't really getting it. Clip Studio is a very intimidating software. But I started to feel more comfortable with the drawings that I was doing. So I decided to be a bit more experimental and ambitious with my drawings. And I decided to do a drawing with the two characters interacting, they're touching each other, well, they're in an embrace, and actually have a background around them. This drawing took me about 3 hours to do, which puts it on the side of my longer drawings. And it was a little difficult, but like in the fun way. I was having fun drawing this. So let me tell you about the characters that are in this drawing. Nora, who is on the left, she's the one in the army pants with all the muscles. She is the sole survivor of a team of soldiers that was sent to protect a town. Now, there was a war that was going on. It lasted 10 months, but there were skirmishes and things before that. There was tension for over a decade. And they were sent to protect a town on the border. She is the final survivor. And when Kaya and Gracie and the others meet her, she's standing in front of the town gates. And she hasn't left her position, not even to eat. Even the people in the town are worried about her. And they're actually the ones who tell her that the war is over, because nobody had sent any messengers or anything so far out. They thought everybody was dead. But no, she did her job. And as soon as Gracie saw her, Nora was her type. Gracie has a type, Nora is 100% her type. The strong, silent protector who is also shy and kinda cute. That's 100% Gracie's type. Gracie is the one with the more strong personality. She is definitely the one who... She's the one who runs things. It's basically what it is. Even though she is the smaller, feminine one, you can see her on her tiptoes even though Nora is bending down. Well, she's leaning up and her legs are bent. Nora is still tiptoeing. But she's definitely the one with the stronger personality. And she is Kaya's close friend. She's not really servant, but she is the one who makes sure Kaya eats and sleeps and doesn't die from her injuries. So she's the one who usually does the replacing of the bandages and stuff. Nora was actually a combat medic, so her job was to like go run into the battle, grab people, run out of the battle, patch them up, and then keep doing that. So she becomes Kaya's apprentice because Kaya is from a healing village. So healing is her thing, even though she is the captain of a platoon. Gracie is... She's still the one who is in charge of making sure Kaya doesn't kill herself. Kaya is a very reckless person. Nora is not as reckless. She does have her moments. Like I said before, this drawing took me 3 hours. Well, 3 hours and 5 minutes, I think. And one of the things that I wanted to do with this drawing was that I wanted to slow down a bit. Most of my other drawings took me about an hour and a half, maximum 2 hours, but I really wanted to slow down and take my time, spend more time on the sketching, add an extra shadow layer, which is something I don't normally do. Normally I would just do that one purple harsh shadow, like cell shading on a multiply layer. But this time I decided to add second multiply layer to give like an extra shadow. And I really like how it came out. I think it really added the extra depth, and then I added in some light rays coming in from the window. and I thought that just really brought the piece together. Their story and their romance isn't really a part of the main story, but I do have like a prequel story that I want to write where we get to see them meeting for the first time and overcoming a little bit of struggle in their relationship. Nora is somebody who is very easily taken advantage of, even when she knows that the person is taking advantage of her. She's too nice to stop it, and that actually causes problems with Gracie because Gracie is offended on her behalf. Nora, even though she knows people treat her bad, well, her previous girlfriends and like even her team that she was working with, she never really gelled with them. And even though she has that struggle where she's always kind of disconnected from people, and even if they treat her bad, she still believes that for love to exist, you have to take some amount of risk, and she doesn't regret any of the risks she's taken in love because her feelings are her feelings, and even if the other person doesn't accept her feelings, they're still her feelings. Like, she's the one who did what she did knowing what the kind of person those people are. And of course, Gracie doesn't really like that because she loves Nora, and the idea of anybody taking advantage of Nora gets her very angry, but they get over that, and they're very much in love, and they're very cute. Though Gracie does still have a problem where all of her friends seem like they don't have the will to live. They won't rest, they won't eat, they don't understand that injuries need time to heal. So she has her work cut out for her. Between Nora and Kaya, and even Curtis, she's definitely on the let's try to keep them from killing themselves today. But she doesn't mind it. She loves her friends, she loves Nora, and she and Kaya are, like I said, very, very close. They're like sisters. Kaya actually ships them. Kaya is actually the one who kind of counsels Gracie when she starts feeling attraction to Nora, but it's a bit rocky. So yeah, these are the two characters, Nora and Gracie. So now we're on to the third character, but second drawing. This man's name is Curtis, and he is Kaya's biggest fan. That basically sums up most of his character. He actually fought on the other side of the war. He's from the other country, but he joins Kaya, and he would do anything for Kaya. He's not in love with her, like there's no romantic feelings between the two of them, but he is very much her fan. He will follow her anywhere she goes. He will do anything she tells him to do. He believes that everything Kaya says is perfect, everything she does is right. Which works well as her shield bearer. Doesn't really work well if he's supposed to be an advisor, but he's not an advisor. He's her second in command. He follows her orders, and he's the one in charge when she's asleep or injured. And that role of keeping Kaya in check actually goes to another character. So with this character, I really wanted to give him armor. Most of my other characters don't wear armor. The war is over, so Kaya definitely is not going to wear any armor. She doesn't see the need for it anymore. She's not fighting anymore. She never wanted to fight to begin with. But as her right hand, her shield bearer, essentially, he takes his role as the second in command and kind of like her bodyguard very seriously. So he always wears his armor and he always has his sword. And I wanted to make his armor look scuffed and dented, like he has been in a war, because he has. You know, his armor is old. I also wanted to give him light colored hair and darker skin. I don't know why when I pictured him, that's just the picture I had in mind. I really like that light blue hair that I started off with, but I realized later on that the red and blue color scheme was looking way too much like Rika, so even though I liked it, I changed it. I don't really like what I changed it to. I think it's too bright for this kind of character, so I'm gonna have to redraw him another time, change up the colors, and see what else I can use for him. Honestly, I find the hardest part of art is picking the colors. I can do the sketch, I can do the line art, I can do the shadows, but picking the colors, sometimes I would do the drawings and I would just leave it on my computer for days because the idea of picking the colors is just so stressful. That's why I actually downloaded a few color palettes, that way I limit the amount of colors I'm seeing, I don't have the whole color wheel to work with. And that has helped. I wanted to try doing a more abstract background for this character, so I just added a splash of color on a dark background. I think it looks pretty okay. It's not as good as the Nora and Gracie one, but I was kind of tired after doing that. I did these drawings, like all of these drawings in the span of a week because I was just enjoying myself so much, but I was kind of getting a bit tired of this drawing. So I decided to just finish rendering what I have, you know, put in the scratch marks and the scuffs, add in the shadows, change the colors, and then just leave it. I think I'm gonna have to spend some time playing around with more colors for this guy, whether that be leaving his hair the green as I had, or maybe giving him the light blue hair again. I just don't want his colors to overlap too much with Rika, because Rika is a main character and I want Rika to stand out. And this guy kind of looks too cool to be a side character. I'm probably gonna have to redesign Rika, but that's not for now. Right now, I do like how these characters are looking, and I hope you guys like how they're looking. So this is Curtis, the enemy turned friend, and Kaya's shield bearer. And now we have the final character in this video. His name is Gunter. He also led a platoon of soldiers during the war, and we first meet him in episode 2 when he and his people are returning home and they found their town completely destroyed and everybody's dead. So he starts off the story struggling. But it's a struggle that Kaya is familiar with, and due to the events of the story, he ends up deciding to join them, even though he really wanted to get revenge on the neighboring town that he thinks let his people die, but there's more to the story than that. I kind of wanted to have like an older character, and the idea in my head was Viking. I don't know why, I just got the idea that he should look like a Viking. But drawing braids is really hard, so I even downloaded a brush to get the braids. I think I'm kind of getting the hang of it. I want to have more characters with braids. I don't usually draw braids because I find them so hard, but I think I'm getting better enough that I can start experimenting a bit more with hairstyles. And because he's supposed to look like a Viking, I didn't want to give him too much armor. Curtis has more armor because of his role and his personality. But this is the kind of guy who would definitely go charging into battle wearing basically nothing. He's the Viking type character. He's actually a really nice guy. He is one of the more mature ones, again because he's older and he's also a captain who has led people into battle. But he's also one of the few characters who would call Kaya out if she does anything. Not that she does anything bad, but he is one of the more level-headed ones. Kaya and Gracie are very good friends. Nora won't say anything for the most part. If there's something she doesn't like, she will just ignore it because she doesn't think it's her place. Riker is in love with Kaya, so he's not going to say anything. Curtis thinks everything Kaya says is perfection, so he's never going to say anything. So that really just leaves Gunter as the one who will help keep her head on straight. He also joins them on their journey to the mountain because he his town was destroyed, his entire family is dead, there's really nothing anywhere for him. So when he finds out that Kaya is going back to her mountain to rebuild, he and the remainder of his team, who their families have also been killed, they decide to join her because Kaya, being Kaya, told them that they're all welcome to join her on this mountain. All of her friends are welcome to join her. And they all do because they don't have homes to go back to. And even if they did have homes to go back to, it was war. They're all scarred. So yeah, he is very loyal to Kaya because he does believe that she is a good person and a good leader, and he agrees for the most part with what she does. He doesn't really care much for Riker, but that's to be expected. Riker is a bit of a brat. He's very immature, and if he didn't have his second in command, Arlo, keeping him in check, he probably would have gotten himself killed many times over. So yeah, in all of these drawings, I kind of wanted to experiment with lines. I used some thicker lines, some thinner lines. Curtis had thick lines, and Gunter has thinner lines. I'm still trying to find out what style I like to do with art, because I do really like the thick black line art with thick shadows, but then sometimes I really like that thin sketchy line art. And if I want to start making a portfolio to get hired to do art professionally, I'm going to have to decide on what it is that I'm going to stick with. For right now, I'm enjoying the experimentation, but I'm torn because I love both styles, and I think some drawings need the thinner line art and some drawings just look better with the thick line art. So you guys can let me know what you think. This is another piece where I tried to do like a two-toned shadow. So I used blue in some places and red in some places and then overlap them a bit on two separate layers. Like you can see how many layers I ended up with. I also did like a splash of color in the background because I wanted to have like a two-toned light source, so have some blue coming in from the left and then some orange coming in from the right, just to have a bit more variation in the light, because shadows really bring out the character, but I always find adding in the lighting a bit harder. So I hope it looks good. And anyway, this is Gunter. If you enjoyed the video and if you're interested in actually hearing the stories that I am working on right now, then please subscribe. Leave a comment telling me which one of these drawings you like the most and why. Because like I said, I'm still experimenting with styles and I would like to know what you guys think. And yeah, that's it for today, and I will see you in another video. Later.